So I'm on the BJJ Fanatics website, and I see 3 new videos by some guy named Thomas Radzinski. You familiar with that guy at all?
Nope, absolutely not.
No? Well, he's got some good stuff. Three brand new videos. They're getting amazing reviews, which is good to see as well. But you got to tell us about them real quick?
Yeah, I had, you guys already know, but I had opportunity to go to Boston, shoot 3 more instructionals, 1 on butterfly hook, complete guide for butterfly hook, 2 wrap, lapel, and submit them, and 3 we have taking the back. It's particularly designed for guys for over 40 because there's no climbing involved. All the back takes are on the ground. Very, very full and effective system. So dip into it. I'm really hoping that this is going to help your jiu-jitsu and really take it to the next level.
BJJfanatics.com. Just search ROZDZ. We have all had that situation where after class is when we want to ask a question. And Thomas, a lot of those questions you've already answered, right, at Ask a Black Belt.
Yeah, it's another podcast that I'm running. It's on podcast, all podcast platforms, plus on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. Just search for my name. Search for Ask a Black Belt. At this point, over 100 episodes, different questions, jiu-jitsu, life-related, but something that everybody comes across, and often these questions sink in our mind, but we don't ask for whatever reason. So if that benefits you, go there, listen. It actually might help your jiu-jitsu, might help your life as well. And if you have any questions, find me on Instagram and drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer your question and mention your name during the episode.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we're live.
Here we go.
There we go. Like as often as I say we are live, almost every time you say here we go.
Yeah.
That's your thing?
There was. I'm trying to think if there was something else that I used to, but here we go. I think maybe it was just here we go again. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Then I used to say peace at the end of every episode. I don't always say that.
Was that intentional or just kind of flew in?
No, it happened the first time, so I had to keep doing
it. Keeping the expectations.
Natural.
Delivering the expectations.
Sure. Yeah. Everybody was going to say it. But he must not like him. You didn't tell him. I don't think anybody pays that much attention. So
great conversation with Brandon.
I love when
it's so easy flowing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like such a serious conversation. Like I'm trying to dig deep into that conversation, and this was just such a chill back chat.
Yeah, some of these, he's not. I don't want to say stereotypical Californian because he's not. But there's something about that life out there where people are just kind of
chill back.
Yeah, he's chill. He's matter of fact. But you know what? And then, never mind. I was going to bring somebody up, but then I remembered that they're a transplant, that they're from Jersey. And they're not very chill. But you go back and listen to different episodes, you'll find out who I'm talking about. But so he's just like, matter of fact, but in a good way, nothing harsh about any of it, and I don't know, just easygoing. That's it, which was great. Which I guess if we're going to try and tie this into the podcast, not everybody's easygoing in jiu-jitsu for various reasons. And one of the things we touched on when we were talking about like why people leave, why students quit, is because everybody wants to win, and you don't in jiu-jitsu. You don't win all the time. Even if you're good, even if you're dedicated, you're not always going to win. And then if you're like a hobbyist, you're going to lose a lot, and I'm not even talking competition. I'm talking, for me, I'm talking about like just out on the mats after class and open training, open mat, sparring, whatever you guys call it at your place. You're going to lose a lot. You're going to spend a lot of time on bottom. You're going to spend a lot of time thinking if this was the right choice for you.
You're painting very dark picture of jiu-jitsu.
It's so having been doing it for 7-8 years now, and then also having been working in the office where I hear a lot of people talk about maybe it's not for them, or it's really hard. I'm not getting it any better, or that guy started after me and he's better. And now I know it would be disastrous, but I almost in the sales pitch, right, in the enrollment process, I almost want to tell him, hey, just so you know, the next 4 months are going to suck. But sign here.
Yeah.
Where's your credit card? Because it's like
Our sales just went down.
Yeah. If you know it going in, it might help you deal with it. But those 3 months later, where it's like, oh shit, this new guy kicked my ass, or this old guy kicked this girl, whatever it is, whatever the case may be, where you think that you might have an upper hand and you don't, it might help you deal with that a little bit.
But there's a lot of truth behind what you're saying. I mean, like, jiu-jitsu is complex. It's difficult. It's complicated, and first few months suck.
Mm-hmm.
You
don't even know how to breathe. Like,
no,
you
don't.
Get guys in here that
you
are,
don't.
that are athletes, who are gassed out. There's guys that are here on a regular basis that look like they could be fitness models that have zero jiu-jitsu cardio. They might have cardio for something else, but they don't have the jiu-jitsu cardio. So you don't even know how to breathe when you start jiu-jitsu, unless you've done other grappling arts, wrestled or something.
So let me ask you this. Why we are so driven to win? Why this is such a huge focal point for many, if not everybody, but many, like majority. Huge majority by landslide. Like, why do we want to? Why we are so competitive? Why do we want to beat the other guy?
I think that it's one of the few times where it's nature and nurture. You want to win because deep down inside, losing at some point thousands of years ago, the only thing you lost at was life and death. And then as you look at like ancient games and stuff, they were brutal, right? So so how does that affect generations down the line? But then the other thing is, a lot of times, depending on your upbringing, you're told very early on, win at all costs. Do you want to be a winner or a loser? All that stuff.
Well, also there's
this combination.
Also, there's the idea of, especially for men, for guys, they are the providers, protectors, by nature, right? This is how we are wired, and coming into the safe environment where we can challenge ourselves without the risk injury or getting killed, right? Is now we are stimulating the natural components of who we truly are, right? Like this male species, or, the survival. That's getting really challenged there, and it's satisfying in a sense, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. What does it say about your masculinity?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And
plus the dopamine rush, the hormones are getting. I mean, they are flowing in the right directions at that point. Like, this is what we were designed to do, and not to take away from ladies. Please don't take me there. Don't start hating me here. But particularly,
no, it's the same thing. It's just, I think it's just
the testosterone, right?
Yeah, it's the less of the nurture thing,
right?
It's more of the nature, right?
Right.
So that part of their lives, and maybe I'm full of shit, but I think that the part of their lives, women's lives, that's been tamped down for generations after generation. That's not ladylike. You're not supposed. A woman wouldn't do that. Girls don't do that. That's been pushed down a lot, in regards to like the activity of jiu-jitsu, that type of activity, right? Now, other sports, they're taught to win just as much, as the guys. So I think it brings it out in both of us. But listen, it feels good to win. It sucks to lose.
Well, yeah, and there's this, like I'm thinking about this now, and like today we live in such a controlled environment, meaning we rarely can say what we want, right? We have to be politically correct often. We definitely cannot act upon situations, right? Like it's part of being a society, being a good member of society, and then coming onto the mat allows us to release some of that frustration, release some of the stress, right? And I'm not talking about even physical, but like we all dealt with a challenging boss or
Tell me about it.
yeah, I know, I have one too. Or overwhelming project, or perhaps family situation is stressful. Your kids piss you off, or maybe you didn't get enough sleep, and it's like all of that allows us to get in this safe environment where we can challenge ourselves mentally, right? Have the dopamine rush as we accomplish this, and then physically, we challenging ourselves, and that puts us in a scenario of competition, right? And now wanting to compete against somebody else who's going through who is in similar situation just makes it that much more satisfying.
Yeah.
To accomplish some of these things,
Yeah, and then I think when you put on top of it the skill involved, and you want to learn and you want to quote unquote master something, and then you pull it off, you hit that technique you've been working on, or your escapes from whatever position are so much better than they used to be. Again, boom, dopamine, and excitement, and you go home and you tell people about it, and but we started this conversation, and even with Brandon, we were talking about the negative impact it can have of everybody wants to win when you're not winning, and you're going to lose it. Like we started talking about, you're going to lose a lot in jiu-jitsu. So it does have the not winning. You have to come to grips with that. How do you come to grips with that? I'm sure it's hard for everyone at every level. Is it harder for the competitor? Is it harder for the guy that used to win all the time that no longer is to deal with? I don't know. That's I know how I deal with it or dealt with it. And I've seen people who can't deal with it. People who storm off the mats, or people who there's a little cheap shot in there,
that happened to you too.
I've never had the cheap shots that I know of. If they've happened, then the person's covered it up by making it seem to be an accident. But I've seen people get heated, and I've seen people get smacked, and it's like, whoa, ho, ho, what? Why is it escalating to this? And it's probably got something to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
you got to be accepting of. That 3 months we're talking about that you're going to suck, that could be 3 years. It could be your entire journey.
It could be 10 years.
Yeah.
It could,
you might listen. I'm never going to be out there wrecking anybody, the people in the room.
You can wreck 5-year-olds.
Well, the little kids. Little neon belly with little Timmy. But
the true colors come out.
Absolutely. But you got to be able to come to grips with that, and know kind of where you fall out when everything's going through the sifter. Where do you fall out, and you got to be okay with that. Does it mean you can't quit, or there's something wrong with you if you do? No, but you should at least be able to rationalize everything and say, okay, hey, I'm 52 or 38 and I never did anything like this before, or I'm 26 and I'm an ex-wrestler. When somebody who physically doesn't look like they should be able to beat me beats me, I should be okay with that. You just got to be able to come to grips with it. I think
that might be the hardest part, right? Like coming to grips with it, like you
for sure
making that acknowledgement, being self-aware enough where you can draw these conclusions.
Yeah, I think so. I think that I think the guys that do, the men and the women that can, they're usually the ones that stick around. the ones that are only concerned about winning, whether it's even in positional training, they don't stick around very long.
Yeah.
They're unhappy with it,
Sure is.
They're not finding the joy in the little accomplishments, that 1% that we always talk about, or the, be happy that one guy that destroys everybody in the room is having a little bit more trouble with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good feeling, and people should embrace that.
I agree. I truly agree. I agree. People don't. We all should look at the small things more often versus trying to solve the whole world's problems. Like a small improvement really can make a huge difference. The small victory, just having a good day, just trying to do a good job sometimes is more than just being amazing.
Pretty amazing. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't know.
Thankfully, we're not recording this because why would we put nonsense like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Take the joy in the little things. The guys that we've talked to that always seem the most well-rounded are the guys that accept their losses and move on. And, that doesn't mean that they don't try and correct it, prevent it from happening again. But they don't dwell on it,
Mm-hmm.
Don't be the kid that flips over the checkers board because you lost, right? They're out here and they're 35 years old and they're, you know what I mean? They're still out there. That kid didn't grow up. So don't be that kid.
Let's wrap it on that.
Okay.
Later.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.